Many thanks for staying with us. It's still Politics HQ on News Central Television. We sincerely apologize for the glitch, but we are back now. And I, of course, I have Dr. Peter Piper, a civil society activist and public affairs analyst. He joins virtually. Thank you for staying with me, sir. Now, my question, back to it again. Looking at this ruling by the Supreme Court and what is happening within the Labour Party, what do you make of it?
Well, let's call a spade, and let's not call it an agricultural instrument. The Supreme Court has made a very simple ruling, and the ruling is, it is not the duty of the judiciary to determine the leadership of any political party in Nigeria. It is the political parties themselves, the internal structure within the party that determines the leadership of the political party. The Supreme Court did not make a pronouncement to say Julius Abure is no longer the chairman of the Labour Party. No, that's a blatant lie. The Supreme Court didn't say that. The Supreme Court said, you Labour Party leaders, go back into the kitchen and decide for your own self who is your leader. So what we are seeing right now being perpetrated by some who claim to be interpreting the judgment of the Supreme Court, they are trying to deceive the deceived into believing that this deceit is not a deception. And this a misconception or deliberate disinformation of the Nigerian people will not stand. And this is why I appreciate News Central, because I know NTA will never give the opportunity to people like me to express their views. Only channels like News Central will give the opportunity to ordinary the truth to speak. What I make of the Supreme Court's ruling is Labour Party leaders, go back home and put your house in order. Now, that's all the Supreme Court said. Now, thank you, Dabo.
Yeah. Now, talking about putting the house in order, we saw a group, or let me use the word faction, even though some party members will tell you that there are no factions within the Labour Party. The faction of Peter Obi and the governor of Abia State, Alex Otti, and Nnedi Usman convened. And at some point, they also approached INEC to sort of present an official document saying that, look, this is the way forward concerning us. And then we saw the Julius Abure faction too saying, you know what, you guys are getting it all wrong. I've not been removed. And when Nigerians were still trying to understand what exactly is going on, Lamidi Apapa organized a press conference declaring himself as the chairman of the party, making reference to some sort of hierarchy or hierarchical structure, if at all. So my question is this. The Labour Party came in as a third force in 2023, really strong third force. And it has, it's been able to garner support, particularly from young people. Some Nigerians even consider it as maybe, quote and unquote, the messiah, the expected messiah, or the political party that would present, the expected messiah. But looking at all that is happening within the Labour Party right now, is there hope for a united front?
Dabo, what is happening right now is a shame. It is a shame, a very big shame and a disgrace. Therefore, I will not lie to you. If Peter Obi says he wants to be the president of a country that is as diverse as Nigeria, that is ethnically diverse, diverse in terms of religion, diverse in terms of ideology, and you want to be the president of this type of a country, Peter Obi should first show his leadership skills by unifying his own party. But it is a shame and a disgrace that Peter Obi cannot sit down with Abure and have a cup of tea. That Peter Obi cannot shield his pride and sit down with Julius Abure and have a cup of coffee. It is time we begin to call a spade a spade. Peter Obi is a political virus. Peter Obi is beginning to prove himself as the greatest fraud ever to appear in the political landscape of this country. Let me prove what I'm trying to say to you, Dapo. Let us call a spade a spade. Peter Obi started his political career with a party named ABGA. Peter Obi promised Emeka Odumegwu Ojukwu he will never leave ABGA. That was why Peter Obi became a governor under ABGA for 8 years in Anambra State. Peter Obi left ABGA. He left ABGA a fractured party. He left ABGA a completely disunited party. ABGA was aiming to become a national party, and Peter Obi destroyed ABGA and went over to the PDP. When Peter Obi went to the PDP, Atiku Abubakar embraced him and made him a vice presidential candidate of the PDP. And they ran against Buhari. And after running in 2019, 2023, Atiku Abubakar approached Peter Obi and said, please be loyal to me and run again as my vice president, so this can be a two-man race. That if it is a three-man race, Bola Asiwaju Tinubu is going to take it away. Peter Obi refused. He left the PDP fractured and disunited. He came into the Labour Party. Peter Obi inherited a united Labour Party under the leadership of Julius Abure. Please just let me land.
Okay.
You know, I'm trying to read this trajectory is getting somewhere.
Okay.
We are not afraid to call out anybody. Peter Obi is not a saint that we cannot talk about. When Peter Obi came into the Labour Party, he met a united Labour Party, and we in the civil society groups, we gathered together collectively, supported the Labour Party, and made Peter Obi a popular candidate. And after the 2023 elections, when Mahmoud Yakubu declared Tinubu as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, all that Abure was asked to do was to simply congratulate Tinubu and say, well, we concede. We lost the election. Tinubu, thank you. If Abure had done that, that would have been the end of Peter Obi. Abure stood still. Abure supported Peter Obi down to the Supreme Court against INEC. Is it not ironic today that Peter Obi, the same INEC, he said rigged him out of the presidency, is the same INEC that Peter Obi, Alex Otti, and that lady with a funny name with a nasal sound, before now, Peter Obi suddenly, let me yield the floor to you.
All right, Dr. Piper, I'll come back to you, but let me bring in Chibuzo Okereke into this conversation. Chibuzo Okereke is a political commentator and legislative strategist. Chibuzo, thank you for joining me. I know that we had this conversation yesterday, but let me just streamline it to pick up from where Dr. Piper stopped, and that is Peter Obi's role within the Labour Party. From Dr. Piper's description, he pretty appears to be doing a very terrible job at uniting the Labour Party. My question to you, Mr. Okereke, is this. Is Peter Obi really adding value to Labour Party?
I listened to my brother, Dr. Peter. It appears he's still in Egypt. Why the transformation of Nigeria from consumption to production train had left Egypt long ago. And I believe if he's looking for a cup of tea or coffee with Peter Obi, he's very much free to do that. It's actually laughable to label someone who brought tremendous political fortunes to the Labour Party, visibility, electability. Through this same man we're talking about, a Labour Party had about 30-something legislators about 34 in the House of Representatives, courtesy of the same Peter Obi, about 7 distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, including the immediate past minority whip of the Senate and the current deputy minority whip of the House of Representatives. These are all fortunes. The greatest aspiration of any political party is to organize and take over power at the government to direct policy of state and development. And therefore, how do you measure the success of a political party? It is the electability and electoral fortunes it acquires in any election. Indeed, since the establishment of the Labour Party more than 2 decades ago, this is the first time the Labour Party will record this level of success. So I don't know how else you want to measure the value of a man that galvanized the entire Nigeria, that the PDP thought he had no value. The presidential candidate of the PDP, my brother was lying about, said himself that the governors of the PDP said he must choose a running mate from amongst them. And he underestimated the amount of contribution Peter Obi brought to his ticket in 2019. And by 2023, it was clear to the entire PDP and even other parties that the man you're talking about is loved by Nigerians, is wanted by Nigerians to be the president of the Republic of Nigeria. And that is why, despite all the suppression and intimidation, he was credited with more than 6 million votes, in fact 6.1 million plus votes in his very first attempt at flying a party's ticket. He joined barely 2 months, to the end of the electoral process leading to the election. So by every standard, he achieved tremendous success. Unfortunately, the greed within the political the old political leadership of the Labour Party, which has now been squarely and firmly buried by the Supreme Court judgment, is what necessitated the crisis we are facing today. So you cannot accuse him, if for anything, a man who has manifested great democratic credentials, great democratic ethos, who has brought value, who believe in the rule of law, social justice. You cannot accuse him of not seeking to drink tea and coffee. My brother, Dr. Peter, can go ahead and organize tea break as many times as possible.
All right.
There is a difference between I don't understand and I don't want to understand.
Okay.
What is going on is being perpetuated by that spirit of I don't want to understand, I must have my way or no other way. That is what Abure, his team, and Dr. Peter is now manifesting, which is very unfortunate.
But just to chip in this,
together to build a Nigeria of our dreams.
All right, just to chip in this, Chibuzo, before I move to Dr. Piper, there are strong talks that Peter Obi might leave the Labour Party because, a coalition of opposition groups is being formed. And there are indicators that maybe, just maybe, he might jump ship from the Labour Party and be a part of. But Dr. Piper, okay, Dr. Piper was actually trying to paint a political history of Peter Obi that, it's fun of sort of changing alliance over time.
What he's painting is even inaccurate. If you go to the Abga he's talking about, Abga has continued to win elections even after Peter Obi left in Anambra. After finish 8 years, they have done about 4 years now, and they are seeking for another. And when he went to the PDP, he contributed to the electoral, success they had. In fact, he was begged to become the South coordinator of the PDP in 2015 for the Jonathan campaign. By 2019, he became the vice presidential candidate. But based on what you are submitting now, just on Wednesday, Mr. Peter Obi himself, who is alive and well, articulate and very ready to take over mantle of leadership, rightly said that he is a full-blooded member of the Labour Party, and he was at the NEC meeting where he addressed, the members of NEC and other faithfuls of the Labour Party. So how can you stay here and say there are rumors when somebody has affirmed just 48 hours ago that he remains a member of the Labour Party? Why follow rumor instead of following truth and reality?
All right, let me leave you for a moment and, of course, give Dr. Piper a right to respond on this. I saw his various reactions while you were speaking. So, Dr. Piper, the floor is yours, quickly.
All right, thank you very much. When people are telling lies, they will settle down. If you listen to the voice of a liar, you can always know. Please, this is not NTA. Someone should tell this guy that this is News Central. We say it the way it is. We are not afraid to call anybody out. We are not scared to say it exactly the way it is. 2023, Peter Obi was a member of the PDP. That's a fact. Peter Obi was a member of ABGA. That's a fact. And the people, Peter Obi right now, wants to do the same thing he has been doing to all the political parties that ever gave him a platform. And Julius Abure is saying, what you did to ABGA, ABGA was already on its way to becoming a national political party. Peter Obi stopped them. PDP was a national political party. Peter Obi fractured them. Labour Party was doing well. Now let me say this, especially for those who are the supporters of Alex Otti. The Labour Party is not a new political party. Alex Otti is not the first Labour Party, is not the first governor that Labour Party has produced. Labour Party produced Mimic.
Dr. Piper, I think we have a bit of a connection, trying to, of course, okay, we have you back.
Mimiko was the governor of, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Please go ahead. Dr. Piper, can you hear me? Okay, so maybe while we're still trying to connect with Dr. Piper, let me bring in Chibuzo Okereke into this conversation. Maybe, I think we have Dr. Piper back.
Network, so that is going on right now. Some people are deliberately trying to scuttle, trying to create a glitch in my network so I wouldn't speak. But please permit me to speak out. Peter Obi is a political virus. He has infected and destroyed 2 political parties, and this is the 3rd political party he wants to destroy. And Julius Abure is saying, sorry, you will not destroy this party. And they are telling Alex Otti, you are not the first governor that Labour Party is producing.
Okay.
Why don't you copy a link, take a leaf from Mimiko, who was a governor. So Alex Otti is doing exactly what Peter Obi and his people are used to doing. They want to have a hostile takeover. They want to hijack the Labour Party. And look at what they have done right now. They have created an opportunity for Lamidi Apapa, a man that when the election was declared and they said Tinubu won.
Dr. Piper, I think we are trying to, of course, connect with you, but let me give the floor right now to Chibuzo Okereke to respond and speak on maybe what we should expect in the coming weeks from, the perspective of a political observer.
My brother, there is nothing to expect. This, the character of Peter Obi as a Democrat to the core is still one of the reasons why we respond and engage with commentaries of this nature from my brother, Dr. Peter. It's absolutely unnecessary. Calling white black in a global television and claiming that it's not an entity. That is, this is biggest fraud of twisting truth ever. And this is what these guys keep doing. You are calling Dr. Otti, who is today a poster governor of the Labour Party and one of the top 3 performing governors in Nigeria. He's celebrated all around the world. If you truly a believer of the Labour Party and the transformation, concrete, tangible transformation that Dr. Otti has brought to Abia State that has been in darkness for more than 24 years, with evil governance perpetuated by all the political parties that have governed the state, and everybody today in Nigeria that used to call Abia dark and low at the base is now singing the praises of Abia. Abia is in the news for better reasons again. And you look at that governor that is bringing that transformation, you say it is bringing destruction to your party because of stomach infrastructure. A party that has a governor who is a NEC member, has a deputy governor, has a speaker, has members of National Assembly, and some few group of people do not want to recognize the fortunes these people bring to the party. Dr. Otti himself, during the NEC meeting, said that he had this tea, this coffee and tea he's talking about for Abure with the same Barrister Abure, and asked him what he wanted, that he could recontest for chairmanship, and then if he gets elected, he will continue to lead the party or transit to be a BOT chairman. These were public statements made by Dr. Otti during the NEC meeting, and this was a private meeting he had. He revealed it publicly for people to know the amount of effort being done to contain people that don't want to be contained or decided that the party must go in the wrong direction. This is absolutely wrong. And they have to make a change of mind, except they're actually being used by other elements, other forces to destabilize the political party. I am surprised that today, Peter Obi that brought fortunes, made Nigerians to endear themselves to the Labour Party, created the biggest campaign slogan that brought national development strategy for the country, consumption to production. Everybody rallied around it today and brought 6.1 million votes to the Labour Party for the first time in the history.
Chibuzo, can I ask you just one question?
Representative members, 7 senators, more than 100, how many state assembly members? And today somebody wants to discountenance that because there is crisis in the party over leadership.
Chibuzo,
and even when the Supreme Court had firmly given judgment, this same group of people have turned themselves into a Supreme Court of another republic, not Nigeria, giving strict interpretations to Supreme Court judgment. These are the real threat and virus to democratic ethos of the country.
But can I just ask one question?
Democratic consolidation is very difficult in Nigeria.
Chibuzo, just let me ask you one question.
Let me tell you, what you don't respect, you cannot attract. Since you disrespect Mr. Peter Obi and you call yourself a civil society leader, I don't know how that is possible. Nobody is telling you not to speak the truth to Peter Obi, but you cannot insult your leader and a man who has brought fortune to you in the name of speaking truth.
All right,
even in the face of crisis, what you need is a table of resolution. And thankfully, Mr. Peter Obi himself, Dr. Otti, they have made frantic efforts to make sure that the right thing is done.
All right, Chibuzo, I'm sorry, but we really need to go on a quick break.
It's against the Constitution.
We need to go on a quick break. When we return, we'll definitely pick up on this conversation, because there are several angles to it. Stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. Of course, it's still Politics HQ on New Central Television, and we are discussing the internal crisis within the Labour Party, leadership crisis, that is. I still have Chibuzo Okereke, a political commentator and legislative strategist, joining virtually. I also have Dr. Peter Piper, a civil society activist, and of course, joining virtually also. Thank you for your time, gentlemen. Let me come back to you, Dr. Piper. And let's look ahead of 2027. Please, in case maybe there are some things that Chibuzo has raised and you'd like to react to, please feel free to react to them. But looking ahead of 2027 and the coalitions that we are seeing, particularly from opposition groups. Just recently, we saw the likes of the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, and also former governor of Kaduna State, El Rufai, meet with Nigeria's former immediate past president, Muhammadu Buhari, and many are speculating that all of this is ahead of 2027. And just like I mentioned earlier, even though Chibuzo staunchly disagrees with me, there are rumors that maybe, just maybe, Labour Party's golden boy, that's Peter Obi, might jump ship. So looking at all of this permutation to unseat the current administration, what do you make of it? Dr. Piper. Okay, I understand that we are trying to connect with Dr. Piper. Maybe I should just direct the same question to Chibuzo Okereke.
Well, I must reinstate my position that I was there at the NEC meeting. I heard the Labour Party global strategic leader, Mr. Peter Obi himself, said that he is a full-blooded Labour Party member and he is going nowhere. He also added that whatever thoughts about merger or coalition is a decision he cannot make on his own, that he will come back to the family and inform them of anybody or any group seeking the Labour Party joining a coalition or participating in a coalition, and that it will be a decision of the party before any step can be taken. That is how you know a thoroughbred democratic leader with clear democratic ethos oozing out of his everyday character. This is the man. He has been consistent all these years. So for somebody to come and force a man who is alive, speaking for himself, and had put out his position on critical national issues, especially regarding coalition and jumping ship, clearly in the public domain. Why are people trying to dwell and focus on rumor when the man himself has spoken? You take him by his words. That is what it should be. So all these people should come back to the party. The national chairman of the party, a very brilliant distinguished Senator Dr. Esther Nenadi Usman. He made it clear. He offered the olive branch to every member of the party, including the XY National Working Committee members led by Mr. Abure himself. These people work together in 2023 elections. So what is the challenge now? The House must be put in order, and the Supreme Court has helped us to achieve that. All that is needed now is that all those who are screaming and crying should wipe their tears, because the Supreme Court had done that, and come back to the fore and let the party be prepared to take over government in 2027.
All right, Chibuzo, thank you for that. So let me, of course, give the floor now to Dr. Piper. Dr. Piper, I believe you heard my question. All of this ahead of 2027, where does this leave Peter Obi, the Labour Party, coalition of opposition groups ahead of 2027?
Dapo, I will give you a straight answer. It simply means that Peter Obi has finally become a political destitute. It means that Peter Obi has finally become a political orphan. It means that Peter Obi, just as he has always done, is in the process of shopping for another political party that will accommodate him so that he can finally complete his work as a hitman to destroy the political party. Now let me set matters straight, because you see, the truth is the truth and a lie is a lie. Even if you put on a red cap on your head and you are telling a lie, the lie will still be a lie whether the cap is red, black or blue. You keep talking about Peter Obi and calling him a leader, blah, 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 blah. Let me make it very, very clear that Peter Obi was made the presidential candidate of the Labour Party. So everything Peter Obi was saying was the manifesto of the Labour Party. So Peter Obi is not bigger than the Labour Party. Everything Peter Obi was reading was a script that was written down. And what you call the popularity of Peter Obi today was an orchestrated reality, was a well-packaged thing. And he benefited from the civil society groups. There was a coalition of civil society groups and all different NGOs, a multiplicity of all of them, who all gathered. And these people were galvanized by Julius Abure. And they say, come work with the Labour Party, because if you look at all the other political parties, just look at their icon. The APC is represented by a broom. A broom is a weapon. The PDP is represented by an umbrella. An umbrella is a weapon. The Labour Party is represented by three principal characters that every human being and every Nigerian can relate to: the father, the mother, and the child. So everything Peter Obi ever tried to say was a well-rehearsed and packaged production by the civil society activists and the different groups of which I am privileged to be an actor in. So what you think is the infallible reputation of Peter Obi was simply the collective effort of the civil society groups,
all right,
the media, the mainstream media, the social media, and everyone in collaboration with Julius Abure.
All right.
It is shameful today that Peter Obi is biting the very hand that fed him.
All right.
The popularity of Peter Obi is not because he ruled Anambra State for 8 years. Anambra State is not one of the best states in Nigeria. If you give any Nigerian an option, choose between Lagos, choose between Cross River, River State, Kano State, Kaduna State, and Anambra
Dr. Piper,
State.
we need to go.
Tell me where you would like to spend the rest of your life. You are not likely to say you want to spend the rest of your life in Anambra State because Peter Obi ruled Anambra State for 8 years.
Dr.
So
Piper,
Peter
thank
Obi
you
is
very
the
much,
product
but we
of a
really need to go. We really need to go. Thank you so much, Dr. Piper. It's been a pleasure. We need to go. But I'd like to also say a big thank you to Chibuzo Okereke, a political commentator and legislative strategist. I know that, gentlemen, you really want to talk, but this is what time permits. Once again, I'd like to say a big thank you. Thank you so much. Well, this, of course, is where we drop the curtains. In case you missed out, you can catch up on our YouTube platform. That's at News Central TV. You can also choose to follow us across social media with the same handle there on your screen. You can watch us live on GoTV, channel 23. We're there. And you can choose to follow me personally at Dakpo, at Digboye. Until I come your way again, good night.